Hi, I'm Phil Aston, and this is Now Spinning Magazine. And I've been asked recently, what are my top 5 Def Leppard tracks? So, with Def Leppard being on the TV recently and all around the place and on tour, it's an obvious question, really. What are my favourite Def Leppard tracks? I first saw Def Leppard supporting Sammy Hagar at the Birmingham Odeon. And I was absolutely blown away with them. These young kids, same age as me back then, by the way, everybody. I just thought they were amazing. Just as we entered into the new wave of British heavy metal, and so many bands were coming out of the woodwork, but of course they'd all been around for a while. But there was something about Def Leppard and this kind of youthful exuberance and just uplifting music that just got me. Of all the bands, Maiden, Saxon, I know Def Leppard, all these bands, it's interesting, don't see themselves being part of the new wave of British heavy metal, but they were. You helped push rock music back into the mainstream, whatever way you want to look at it. And I followed this band throughout their whole career. So I was thinking I could have done a top 10, top 25, top so many albums. I thought I'm going to really narrow it down. I'm going to make it to 5 tracks. Top 5 tracks for Def Leppard, from 5 to 1. And I thought I'm going to do this really quickly. And I know that our Diamond Halos and the other more recent one, great albums. But I just thought, which are the tracks that I actually just think about now? I'm going to play 5 Def Leppard tracks. What would they be? So here we go. Number 5 is from On Through the Night. And it is, no, it's not Rock Brigade. It's Hello America. Hello America was a call to arms, wasn't it? You have to remember what it's like to be in the UK around this time. We are obsessed with America. We're obsessed with American films, American TV, American music, the way American rock music seems to be more mainstream over here in the UK. We've gone through punk, we've gone through disco and all the rest of it. But it seems that every time you look towards the States, you know, the bands coming out of there, the Van Halen, the life they're having. Hello America was Def Leppard saying, hello America, we're going to tour America. Every band's dream back then was to tour America, to be crack America, to be big in America. And this song has such a great riff, and there's a certain template to rock music where you have the riff and you have the kind of the bass drum and the snare and everyone stops on it while the riff goes on in the background. This is one of those tracks. And then you have a chorus where everyone can punch the air and join in with you. And that has this. And it still does it to me to this day, even though my desire to go to America isn't as high as it might have been back then. But I think the UK then was kind of look, I know most places are a bit of a mess at the moment, but you know what I mean. But there was a call to arms. It wasn't really going to say hello, just slot in any country you want. But Hello America from On Through the Night, the first album. This album is not perfect, but that track to me always sums up Def Leppard. It just is the song. They did it supporting Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar was great that night, by the way. But me and my mates who'd gone to see it didn't know. I was the only person who was reading sounds religiously and saw that this band called Def Leppard were on. But mates going, this band are good, aren't they? They're good. And of course, they went on to be who they are now. So that's number 5, Hello America from On Through the Night. For number 4, I'm only edging forwards one album. And it's High and Dry. This was the one I played over and over again, and I still do play this album a lot. There's something about the innocence of it, but Let It Go is such a great opener, such a great riff, and again this kind of chorus. It's not like the chorus of Queen or other bands like Heap and ELO or what I'm trying to say, it's not so harmony driven. There's something about the kind of gang vocals that was just beginning to break through here. And John Mutland knew exactly what he was doing. But Let It Go is such a great track. It isn't that one, by the way. It's Another Hit and Run, which kind of isn't that far distant cousin to something that AC/DC might have been doing around this time. It's that kind of guitar riff with a root bass, steady 4/4 rhythm, but just gets me every time. Just gets me every time. That kind of guitar riff, that kind of rhythm, that kind of verse, that kind of chorus, that kind of middle eight, that to me is the rock music of my youth and the rock music of my dreams, the rock music that got me through various things. It's the rock music I love to play, literally on guitar, or to play in a car when I'm driving. Another Hit and Run, the kind of angst in the vocals. I mean, there are great tracks on it. Switch 625, which is instrumental, is another brilliant one. But Another Hit and Run, I made it to number 4 in my top 5 Def Leppard tracks. The next one is from Pyromania, and I could have picked a lot from here. This is really tricky, actually, because it could have been Photograph or Die Hard the Hunter or Too Late for Love. But I think it has to be Rock of Ages. The video hasn't aged terribly well, but any rock video from this period hasn't aged that well. But this track hasn't aged at all. This whole Rock of Ages thing and the chorus and this. I was travelling backwards and forwards to London, playing in a band down there called Rogue Mail at the time, with Chris Almer from Samson, and I was catching the kind of National Express coach back to Birmingham after the rehearsals. I should have stayed. I was knackered, and I had this on pre-recorded cassette, and I just had it on my Walkman, and it just played over and over again, all the way back, to the 2.5 hour journey. That's the only thing I listened to was Pyromania by Def Leppard. And the track that sometimes I would think, I can't wait to go all the way around again, I'm going to rewind it, was Rock of Ages. It kind of sums up how I felt rock music, what it meant to me, and how others might have perceived it, or it was like a shield. Rock music. It's always felt to me, which is why it's my favourite genre. You're on the outside, really. You're an outsider, but you're with others. You're with others. A bit like, I suppose, what I tried to do with this whole now spinning thing. We're on our own, but we're not. You identify with something that you kind of feel connected to. That it's an emotional, almost physical thing with music like this. That it's not just the words which are kind of like get under your skin, and you're not really listening to even what it tangibly might mean to you personally, but the whole way that the drums and the guitars and everything is constructed just changes how you feel. So that is number 3 in my top 5 Def Leppard tracks, which is Rock of Ages. Number 2 is from Hysteria. And no, it's not Pour More Sugar on Me. It's actually the B-side. It didn't even make the album. And the B-side, and it is the track that I'm looking for, if I can find it, is Tear It Down, which of course was also redone for Adrenalize later on. I think they had to because it was such a great track. But Tear It Down was kind of closer to Pyromania, to High and Dry, than it was to Hysteria, which is probably why it didn't make it. There was something about the songwriting on Hysteria and the way that the songs were constructed, and production-wise, when you listen to Hysteria now, I think you appreciate more just how massive the production is and how perfect this is as a rock album. Some people criticise 80s production techniques and saying, "Oh, it sounds like it's from the 80s." I don't know why people have an issue with this. I mean, drums in the 80s were bigger than airport terminals. They're just they're just in your face. Just something about it, and the production on this album and the way it was laid down is just perfect. However, that track, Tear It Down, lends itself to where they'd come from with the sound of where they were going. And I just love I just knew the riff was going to be one of those riffs that I just want to keep playing. I love the way it sank back to build up the atmosphere, the vocals to kind of ride and softly roll out over the top of, and then we move into the, the kind of chorus that you expect from Def Leppard. Tear It Down is an absolute gem of a song. One of their highlights to me. One of the best songs in their entire catalogue. I play that over and over again, still do. Once I've played it, it's one of those tracks, like a lot of things, I've got so much music in my house, so much music in my life, that, trying to remember to get to work my way around to so much stuff. But when I do play this, I just keep pressing replay. So that is number 2. Tear It Down from Hysteria, outtake, B-side. So, what is my number 1 Def Leppard track? And the only reason I put my spectacles on is to remind myself when this came out, because it's from 2002, and this is going to be a real big surprise to all of you out there thinking, what am I going to pick for my number 1 Def Leppard track? And it's from the album X. Surprised? And the track is Long, Long Way to Go. In fact, this track is on this album twice. There's the one that I'm referencing now, which is track 5, and also it is A Long, Long Way to Go, the acoustic version, which is on a bonus track on the end of this CD. It's a ballad, really, but it's a typical Def Leppard ballad in the way it builds up to an absolutely monumentally, emotionally charged chorus. But this song has such emotive power to me that I don't even need to know what it's about, a friendship, or whether it's someone feeling that they can't meet someone that they want to meet, or what the person they're with they're not going to be able to be with, or whatever it is. There's something about the way it's sung, the way it's performed, that just makes me feel absolutely enveloped in the song itself. It makes me feel great. If I'm if I'm driving home from being away from being with my family, or my kids, or Sue, my wife, or whether we're together, sat on the sofa, or we've gone on holiday, or whatever, this song, it just connects so many things. I think Joe Elliott's vocals, the whole band, it's not a typical Def Leppard song, is it? I guess. I mean, but to me, when I did this exercise, my top 5 Def Leppard songs, I just knew this was number 1 anyway. If I think of the number 1 Def Leppard song I play, or I think of Def Leppard, it is A Long, Long Way to Go. Is the one I play the most. Is it the song I'd pick to play somebody who never heard Def Leppard? No, of course it wouldn't. But if someone said, I don't like Def Leppard, then I would play this song to them and say, are you sure you don't like this band? Because this track is it's beautiful music. It's absolutely beautiful music. So that is my number 1 track out of my top 5 for Def Leppard. And I apologise for my voice in this video, because I'm coming out the other end of having severe man flu, as I've said on some of the other recent videos, but I'm getting there. The only thing I'd like to finish on, because me and Joe are roughly the same age. In fact, we basically are the same age. And I saw online recently someone saying something about his hair, and they saw him on the telly, and they said, he looks, I thought that was an old woman to start with. And everyone was chuckling and laughing and everything. I can relate to that, because I sometimes get remarks like that when people see my thumbnails of my videos. And do you know what? And Joe will understand this, and so will many of you out there who were raised on rock and roll. Bob Seger 1975, Live Bullet. The album, Live Bullet. The track, Turn the Page. It's the same old story. Is that a woman or a man? You see, if you've been in rock music and you've had hair, my hair's quite short now, by the way, and I've had long hair for most of my life in different styles and stuff. We're used to that. It's like, again, it's a badge of honour. It takes a while to grow hair, to be in rock music. And so, you know, leave the guy alone. He's still up there, still doing it, still treading the boards, still playing rock and roll. They all are. And, you know, good for them. When I ever click on anyone's profile that ever says anything like that to me, it always looks like they're trying to advertise Easter eggs early. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. If you know, the thing is, you've got hair, you can always cut it off. You have a choice. Rock and roll. Keep rocking, everybody. It's very important. So that's my top 5. What are your top 5 tracks by Def Leppard? It'd be great to hear what you think. Anyway, remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care, all of you. Keep spinning those discs. Remember, t-shirts like this can be yours with 15% off if you become a patron or YouTube member. And not only that, not only do you see all the videos for anyone else, you can get access to our private Facebook group, private WhatsApp groups, and there are several of them, and also come along to our own pub called the Now Spinning Arms, where we meet up and talk about music and stuff. So take care, all of you. Keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.